still like a baby trans.
Trans women are not women.
I'm a girl also.
Combine the Paralympics and the Olympics?
Why not?
Acknowledge my privilege.
Want me in the bathroom with your husband?
He made the woman to be a woman!
That is anti-trans rhetoric.
Hey guys, today we have a lot to discuss when it comes to women-only spaces. We're going to start with this woman in the UK who opened up a female-only gym, and suddenly she is the villain because basic biology is very offensive now. So before we start, make sure you are subscribed, hit the notification bell. Let's begin.
In 2021, 4 years ago, I made a tweet, and the tweet referenced my women's only gym, the Girl Spot, and being trans inclusive. Now, when I made that tweet in 2021, I had just announced my plans to open a women's only gym. I hadn't thought out the vision or the mission or what it would entail, but all I knew is that I wanted to open a gym. We are now 4 years later, and I've had a great deal of time to figure that out. The Girl Spot gym exists as a safe space for women because women are facing gym harassment, assault, and violence inside of gyms, and I know that because I'm a victim of it. So the meaning of the Girl Spot gym is now entirely different, and I say this to say that whilst we are a gym, inside we are focusing on self-defense classes.
That's nice. Best thing to do though is to get a gun. Then you can do jumping jacks or whatever else.
Muay Thai, boxing classes, as well as workshops and activations around PCOS and training on your menstrual cycle, all of which occur to biological women.
What would the trans women do during these lessons? I'm just curious.
The majority of the women who are seeking my women's only gym, the Girl Spot, are coming here because they have faced some level of gym intimidation or violence and assault that has been perpetrated by men. So as the owner of the gym, it is very important to make it clear how my women's only gym will be operating, and it will be operating as a single-sex space for biological women. Now, we do believe that everybody deserves a safe space, and there are many gyms that are starting to have mixed cubicles and changing rooms so that individuals can feel safer and more included in these environments. But the Girl Spot gym as a standalone is a female-only gym because it is imperative that I stick to the vision and the mission and ensure that these women feel safe.
Yep. Oh, sorry. How dare she? Guys, how can you possibly call yourself a feminist if you're fighting for biological men to be able to enter these spaces? But Misha, they feel like women. They feel like they should be able to go into those spaces, and that would make them feel really great. I don't care. If you have the male parts, you should not be going into the women's restroom. No, but you don't get it. All trans women are angels. It's actually the men who pretend that they're trans that are entering the restrooms and assaulting women. Okay, how will we check that? How will we know if this is just a guy pretending to be a woman or if it's just a guy pretending to be a woman? Paperwork if you have to take a shit. Oh, how many years have you done hormones? How many surgeries have you had? Have you chopped it off yet? Like, what are we gonna do? So I completely understand her idea for a women's only gym because assaults do occur in mixed gyms.
When he comes too close, she's had enough.
Don't come near me. Surveillance video captured the incredible moment a Tampa woman fought off an attacker at her apartment complex's gym. Alma immediately ran outside, escaping to a nearby apartment.
And then I've heard from some men, okay, then we'll make a men's only gym. Okay. Who's stopping you? Why would you be upset about this? I have seen her reacting to this, and I've seen certain men say this as well. Oh, well, women only go to the gym to show off to other men, right? And to try and mingle with them. Are you okay? So women like to be healthy as well, right? Not everything is done for men. I struggle to understand the men that have this mindset. Do they not have women in their lives? Probably not. But here we go. Okay. Even if you had that mindset, not only single women go to the gym. Women with boyfriends go to the gym. Married women go to the gym. This is crazy. Now, this could actually be a positive for the men as well, because you don't have to deal with some influencers, female influencers, right, who show up to the gym and yes, look for that male validation, wear practically nothing, which is never an excuse to harass someone, of course. But still, they show up half naked, they start recording, they're not even there to really work out, and they're just looking for the guy to glance at them.
I hate this. I hate this. I hate when there's weirdos. It makes me so uncomfortable.
Feral, like feral. Mirrors everywhere, so it's like you can easily catch people.
They post it on their social media and they try to ruin that guy's life. That is also disgusting, right? And so that way we don't have to deal with that as well. It sounds like a win for everyone, at least to have that option, right? And then if you want to go to a gym with both men and women, you can. No one is stopping you. And this woman had the audacity to say, I want a space where women don't have to worry about harassment from men.
Speaking to trans women, I spoke to charities, I spoke to Muslim women, I spoke to so many different communities about this topic, and what really saddens me is that so many people are saying that I'm transphobic. I thoroughly researched. I seeked legal advice. I spoke to communities. I spoke to trans women themselves, which I found very important to do so, to see how to navigate all of this, because I am not trans.
And since this harassment actually happened, wouldn't the woke mob want to protect women? Wouldn't they care about their safety? Regardless of your political beliefs, whether you're on the right, the left, the center, I think we should all be able to agree on that, right? Well, no, not at all. They said absolutely not. You have to allow men. So in 2025, women are being stripped of their spaces and even the ability to state biological facts, all while the media and those on the far left gaslight women into believing that they are bigots if they don't allow men into their spaces. We're gonna prioritize the men's feelings over the women's safety, because listen, when trans women say, oh, but I feel unsafe in the men's restroom, the world bends over backwards to accommodate them. Why? Why do they matter more? Why does their comfort matter more than when the actual women say, hey, but I feel unsafe when men are allowed into our restrooms, into our changing rooms? Bigots, right? And I understand that there are circumstances when someone really is like passing well, right? They look like a woman and they do feel unsafe going into the men's restroom. Hopefully there's like a gender neutral restroom available that they can use. But I don't understand how someone can say, no, it's black and white. Women, shut up. We're going to be listening to the biological men and how they feel, and we're going to put that above your safety. Women, the women that are siding with them, how can you call yourself a feminist? The overwhelming majority of gyms are already mixed, so trans women can go to those. But that's not enough. You see, they need access to women-only spaces. They just do.
Obviously, the decision to make it was not based on excluding any individuals. It wasn't based on malice, nothing of the sort. The decision was based on the simple fact that I have been sexually assaulted inside of a gym. That is why I stand here as a women's only gym owner. So many of the women that are coming to my women's only gym is because they have also been assaulted or harassed or faced gym intimidation inside mixed gyms and faced that by men.
The fact that this woman has to even justify her decision is insane. And it's not even mostly men attacking her. Like, yes, of course, there are some men who are saying, oh, well, good luck getting anyone to sign up. Many people did sign up, by the way. They can't seem to comprehend why a woman would want to go to a gym to just work out. Crazy. It's mostly, though, women attacking her, saying, how dare you? The trans women should be able to take these self-defense classes, these lessons on the menstrual cycle. It's very important for the trans women to know about that. Mental. And of course, you'll hear, well, you think all trans women are dangerous? No. I think there are law-abiding trans women, there are trans women that break the law, and there are men who are going to see this loophole and identify as a woman and be able to enter these spaces. And at that point, it wouldn't be a women's only gym anymore, okay? We would have the same problem. So if you dare acknowledge biological truth, you're labeled a bigot. You're the problem because I feel. That's so great. I'm so happy for you. You can feel in a therapist's office. You cannot feel whatever you're feeling in the women's only spaces, okay? You want to call women standing up for their safety TERFs. You want to call them bigots. You want to call whatever. Fine. You can call them whatever you want. But forcing women to allow men into their spaces, it's not going to happen.
I'm all for the trans community, you know what I'm saying? Be who you are, but also be so for real. Like, she said she only wants biological women in that gym because, you know what I'm saying? Like, trans women, you are a woman, be what you want, but you know you also have the abilities of a man.
It's not transphobic, it's called self-preservation. Natalie has made a women's-only gym, and the internet is in flames because it's for biological women. It is by our own biological women who are advocating for our own demise, for our own erasure. Women need to gatekeep womanhood. Trans women are not women. They have male minds. What does that mean? They think like men, and that's exactly why they demand access to our spaces instead of just building their own. For those of you who want stats, I've got some here. A Swedish study found that trans women, biological males, retain male patterns of criminal behavior, including violent crime, even after transition. And in the UK, 50% of trans women in prison are sex offenders compared to just 3% of biological women. But we are supposed to let them in our spaces, right?
Thankfully, this woman is not backing down, but I do want to mention how this is also convincing people to deny reality about themselves as well. And I found a great video discussing this, so let's listen.
Hi, my name is Niza, and I'm a guy. But for the last 10 years, I was convinced by just about everybody that I was a trans woman therapists, medical professionals, friends, they all tried to tell me that I needed to physically alter my body, either by taking hormones or planning my next surgery out to ease these gender dysphoria symptoms in my life.
Because Big Pharma is working overtime to try and convince people that to be happy, they have to change everything about themselves. And we see these studies coming out showing that people aren't even happier. They don't feel less anxious, less depressed, less suicidal after these surgeries. If you're an adult, you can get these surgeries, do as you please. However, it's people trying to silence those who are speaking up about their own experiences, right? Detransitioners. That is not helping people. That is profiting off of them. That is making them lifelong patients. Then you're tied into a lifetime of hormones, of surgeries, of medical dependency.
They looked at them over 10 years, and researchers then separated the individuals by those who went on to have gender-affirming surgery and those who did not. Demonstrated that those undergoing surgery were at significantly higher risk for depression, anxiety, suicidal ideation, and substance use disorders than those without surgery.
Not all, but in many cases, it only makes things worse.
But that's not what was actually going on. You can't be a trans anything related to your gender because those things are concrete. And if you want to express yourself in a feminine way or a masculine way, that's one thing. But having the entire medical community tell you that you need to physically alter your body with these plastic surgeries and cross-sex hormones that we don't know the lasting side effects to is disturbing. And you want to know how to truly cure gender dysphoria is to look inside and understand that, yeah, I was born a boy, I'm a man, I'm male, but I have some unique things about me. Yeah, I like to dress like a woman or wear makeup. It doesn't make me any sense of the word of a woman.
Brilliantly said. And then also, if someone is passing and they're being respectful about it, fine. She, her, fine. But you know what? When you demand people use those pronouns, when you demand people accept your delusion that you have changed your gender, which you cannot do, when you start policing people's language, then that's a problem. So what you're actually doing, if you're part of that crowd and you think that you can silence others, is you're only making it worse for yourself. The second you step away from this narrative, you're no longer the brave trans woman, right? Now you're dangerous. Now you need to be shut down if you're a detransitioner. So it's not just about forcing women to allow men into their spaces. It's about forcing people in general to accept this delusion. And it's not going to happen. So too bad.
I am so freaking proud of Natalie because number one, she did not back down to the pressure. Look, so click on the blood link and get your money back and off somewhere that's more inclusive. As a mother with a daughter, we need to do something to protect our daughters, and I'm so happy she's doing that. I'm so happy she's sticking to her guns and she's like, no, biological women only.
In the light of the gym that's excluding trans women from entry, I officially never want to hear a straight person complain about not feeling welcome in a queer space ever again. Who is complaining about that? What's a queer space? And why would a straight person be there? What's happening? What are you talking about? When I make a women-only gym, all women are welcome. What is this millennial humor? You changed everyone's minds. That was genius. The rise of conservatism is insane right now. Conservatism. The rise of common sense.
Babies, it's time to disengage.
Lizzo?
It's time to disengage my children. Because at the end of the day, the problems that they have right now, they'll continue to have once we leave, once we disengage. Who wants to be anywhere they're not wanted? Trans life is so, we're amazing people. Like, we are balls of light and joy, and we honestly bring sunshine wherever we go.
This is so weird. Trans people, we are such balls of light. Balls of light. Each human being is going to be different. Just because you're trans does not make you better or worse than other people. It does not mean that all trans people are fantastic. What is this? Bragging about your gender identity or your race or your sexuality. It's just stupid. Like, it's really, really dumb.
And I feel like there are lots of people who love us and adore us. And instead of engaging with TERFs and people who hate us and people who want to betray us in a way that we're not. Let's just be around people who love us and care about us and adore us. Like, in the same way that Black people are just disengaging from the tactics that they're using.
I think this person really likes the word disengage. Doesn't seem like you were engaging in many gyms in the first place. But now you're interested because biological men are not allowed. Interesting.
Trans people as a whole need to be doing the same thing. Do not engage.
No one is stopping you from entering an echo chamber. You can be around people that only love you. That's fine. But you can make your own gym. You would, of course, then have to make a trans man gym, and then a non-binary gym, and then within all of those categories, you would have to divide it even further, because that's what happens with the left. Oh, okay, what about disabled trans women? What about disabled Black trans women? Their experience is very different, and they need to have a safe space from the able-bodied people, or from the cisgender people, or from the white people, of course, very dangerous. So you're never gonna feel like you've done enough, but you're free to try. This is not about disengaging. This was never even a conversation, or at least it shouldn't be. But the reason they're trying to make it into a conversation is because they refuse to disengage. They want to control the spaces that women are allowed to have.
Let's go to a gym where there's no guys.
No guys?
Yeah,
that's fine.
So I'm scared of men at the gym. So I go to all women's gym.
I found this prank video I thought we would take a look at, where this man, he goes into the women-only gym.
Girl power. Girl power. You're good, queen. You're good.
We're not allowed to film in the gym due to women in the gym.
I don't mind. I'm a girl also.
Okay.
I'm just trying to become an Instagram influencer.
You're making my ladies uncomfortable and filming in here?
Girl, I'm not making anybody uncomfortable.
With the camera, with, I assume, a man with a camera.
Oh, a man? That's a female.
With a penis? I'm sure it is.
No, look, can you pan yourself? This is a female.
But how can you prove that that's not a trans woman?
Run. How you doing, Black Queen?
I'm fine.
You're not a girl.
No, yeah. Can I identify as a girl?
You most definitely can, but you're not a girl.
Your name, sir? Or ma'am? Where you like to be identified as? Sorry.
Seriously, what is the standard here? Are we gonna judge by wig quality? Some trans women can't afford a better wig. They can only go for the Party City wig. Or is it based on how convincing the makeup is, or how many surgeries they've had? How do you know if this is a beautiful, stunning trans woman or a troll? And that's why women are fighting back, right? That's why common sense is winning, because this is not what progress looks like. Let's turn to Dylan Mulvaney. We've missed him.
Well, I come from a very conservative Catholic family.
Oh gosh, Catholics.
But I feel lucky because I now am in such a great place with them. There's love there, despite our different views. My mom said something along the lines of, God doesn't make mistakes, but
Exactly.
I don't think God sees me as a mistake. And I actually am still really trying to keep a relationship with the higher power, because I think that, trans and queer people are entitled to that.
That's great. Also, God created male and female, but you seem to think that he put people in the wrong bodies by accident when it comes to transgender individuals, and that you have to get all of these procedures. The problem is that that's what Dylan's entire identity is based on. The idea that God did make a mistake and that you have to fix the mistake by taking hormones, by getting surgeries. And now we're celebrating that he has fixed that mistake.
I wanted to ask you, because there's been all of this debate about whether transgender athletes should be able to compete. And last week, California Governor Gavin Newsom said that he thinks that trans athletes competing in girls' and women's sports was deeply unfair.
The last time I played a sport, I was 6 years old, and I was on a soccer team, but I assigned myself as the nurse. So I sat with the Band-Aids. And so, in the words of Wicked, I am not that girl.
You're not a girl at all. Also, what was the point in telling us that story? I was so dainty. I didn't even play. I was on the sidelines, yeah, because I was a girl. Girls don't play sports, you see? Dylan, you are sexist. I can't.
I'm still a baby trans. I've only 3 years in. Tomorrow's my anniversary.
Your friend went from Your friend went from female. The problem that the trans community is facing, and it's the same problem that women face, is if you don't know anything about our bodies, you don't know how it works. So when you come in and you say, these are men, competing against women, you're assuming that the women are weak and just can't do anything except be here. Have you seen female athletes? They know what they're doing.
No one's assuming anything. Men tend to be stronger right, than women, like on average. I don't know. Are we just going to pretend that's not a thing? That we should allow men to compete with women? I think it's time that we understand when we have so many cases of these biological men dominating in women's sports, and we're just supposed to sit back and say, well, they feel good. That made him feel happy though. Okay, when your daughter tries to get a scholarship, when your sister spends her entire life training only for a man to show up, you might have a different opinion. Because a bunch of these people saying this know nothing about sports. They've never even played a sport.
I came out to my mom at age 4 as a girl. And
what did you say?
I said, I think God made a mistake and put a boy into, or a girl into a boy's body. And, you know, she said, God doesn't make mistakes. But, you know, a number of years later, we made it to where we needed to be. No matter what my passport or the administration says, I am a woman, and I feel really proud of it. And that's something that I'm still learning and growing every day in.
See, that's what it really comes down to. What do you mean you're learning to be a woman? Learning and growing, he said, into what? You're either a woman or you aren't. Real women do not have to learn. They just are. Now, you can learn how to be feminine. You can learn how to be masculine as a man, sure, but you're still going to be a woman if you're not feminine. Dylan doesn't seem to get that. People like Dylan Mulvaney, their entire identity relies on people validating them, right? The rest of society saying, yes, you are a woman. Yes, because you wore lipstick today. And then when people disagree, they throw a fit. And they need everyone else to keep up with the script so that they can keep up with this illusion. However, real women do not need anyone else to say you're a woman, because that's the truth. Like, you're just a woman. What do you mean? I'm learning, guys. I went on a shopping spree. I'm even closer now to being a woman. That is not how it works. That is not what being a woman is about. Like, that could be part of your experience. Fine. But it has nothing to do with your chromosomes. I also want to talk about this tweet. So Stacy says about Riley Gaines, she looks more trans than any trans women I've ever met in my entire life. Okay, so this person is trying to defend trans people by insulting a biological woman by saying she looks trans. Not very intelligent, but I really want to talk about her response because it's amazing. They truly can't imagine what it's like to be secure in yourself without relying on affirmation from others. Hateful comments like this have no effect because my identity and worth are found in Jesus Christ alone. Praying he comes to realize that before it's too late. There's another great Riley Gaines moment with Blossom. You may remember Blossom. Let's watch.
Absurd. From top to bottom, saying there should be a gender-neutral Olympics?
I know.
Are you serious?
Madness.
Do you also believe, Blossom, that we should combine the Paralympics and the Olympics? I would love to hear an answer to that.
Okay, I'll ask her. Bring back Blossom. Blossom, should we combine the Paralympics with the regular Olympics? Have them all compete with each other?
I mean, why not? And to go back to Riley's point to that last point.
These are very intelligent people we're dealing with here. I feel like it's getting worse. I don't know, like maybe because people are waking up, a lot of people are. And so those who are still clinging to this delusion, they're really trying to convince others, yeah, it doesn't matter. Let's have the disabled people and the trans people, men and women, everyone, put them together. Who cares about fairness? This proved that it was never about fairness or logic. It's about pushing an ideology. Here is Hunter Schafer. This is a transgender actor.
First day of Trump's presidency, he signed an executive order to declare only 2 genders recognized by the state, male and female, assigned at birth. On my new passport, male. And I want to acknowledge my privilege, not only as a famous or celebrity trans woman who is white and thin and can adhere to contemporary beauty standards, and I can participate in all of that.
So Hunter is mad because now you can only have male or female on your passport, and it goes based on what you actually are after years of self-identification nonsense. So it's good to have the correct gender on official paperwork, right? Regardless of whether you're white or not. Oh, sorry, I recognize my privilege. I'm so sorry I'm white. I'm so sorry. I'm thin.
Do you really want me in the bathroom with your husband? I don't think so.
I don't care, I just don't want you in the bathroom with my daughters. My husband isn't gay, so it's fine. In this person's head, they're thinking, yes, every married man, straight man, mind you, will fall at my feet if I go into the men's restroom. You know, I think that the less secure you really are, the more you try and brag about how much of a catch you are. I'm so attractive. Every man loves me. Girl, Sir, you can have that opinion. There's also Representative Sarah McBride, who was a biological male.
I now recognize the representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ranking Member Keating, also wonderful.
Mr. Chairman, could you repeat your introduction again, please?
Yes, we have set the standard on the floor of the House, and I'm simply...
What is that standard, Mr. Chairman? Would you repeat what you just said? You introduced a duly elected representative from the United States of America. Please.
I will. The representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Mr. Chairman, you are out of order. Mr. Chairman, have you no decency? I mean, I've come to know you a little bit, but this is not decent.
We will continue this.
Continue with me unless you introduce a duly elected representative the right way.
This hearing is adjourned.
What's truly astonishing is this expectation that everyone has to go along with this delusion, right? That this is a woman, while the country faces real issues like inflation, border security, things we really do have to discuss, right? Not Sarah McBride. Some politicians are more focused on forcing the incorrect pronouns. It's a distraction from talking about issues that are actually affecting Americans' daily lives. But they like to twist it and say, well, you won't go along with my delusion, so you're the one who's avoiding these issues.
They are obsessed with culture war issues. The Republican Party is obsessed with culture war issues. It is weird and it is bizarre.
She went with her family to the doctor, and the doctor said that she's a girl and everyone should see her and treat her like a girl.
Jazz was born male. Jazz now identifies as female. Everyone must see Jazz as a girl now.
That journey that she had from people thinking she was a boy and the fact that Jazz knew she was a girl to her parents and her friends accepting her as the girl that she is, that journey is called being transgender. Jazz at the end talks about how being different is good.
There's also the spa controversy in San Francisco. Let's see how they handled it.
Female and male go into parts. So if you have the female part, you go to the female side. If you have the male part, you go to the male side.
I'm not sure what you're meaning by parts.
As in like physical parts, as in like your genitals.
Yes.
If you have the woman genital still, you go to the woman's side. And if you have the male genital, a penis, you go to the male side.
Well, what about women who have penises and men who have vaginas?
You go to that side.
Segregate them.
So yeah, that doesn't exist.
We still go based on genital parts.
So you would put a man in the women's room?
So if they have the parts, yes.
That's not a man, though, necessarily.
We just go based off genitals. So you're assigned with if the male has the genital part.
If you put a man in the women's room, you're going to have huge problems. You can't do that.
We have transgender male. They feel totally, if they still have, we're going to talk how it is, if they still have their vagina, they go on the female side, they feel totally comfortable. Because we go based on what they have, the genital.
Yeah, but you have, I mean, if somebody is a man, they need to go in the men's room. Just full stop.
If they don't have genital parts, we cannot let them go in.
You can't say that somebody's not a man based on what their parts are.
That is anti-trans rhetoric. That is
that's
discriminatory.
The rule that we're saying.
Anti-trans
recording
rhetoric.
And then put that, but that's what we go based on.
I feel so bad for these workers. This woman, though, she did not back down. I am so proud of her. This is actually insane, though, to say, oh, it's anti-trans rhetoric because I'm a woman with a No, no such thing.
Genital parts.
That's literally not how anybody defines men and women, especially in San Francisco.
Especially in San Francisco. We have a different definition here. Yeah, I'm sure you do. Doesn't matter. Biology is biology, regardless of where you are.
This is anti-transgender policy. It's anti-transgender rhetoric.
You guys should really be ashamed of yourselves.
Yeah, this is shameful behavior.
Have a great night.
Okay, bye. Never come back. We have a street preacher, and this is also in San Francisco, I believe. Let's watch.
And start to humble yourself and be somebody that God made you to be. He didn't make a man to be a woman. He made the man to be a man. He didn't make the woman to be a man. He made the woman to be a woman. And this is the truth. What are you going to do? Come attack me now? I should. Hey, man, it's up to you. If you want to pull that on me, well, God bless you. So you just threatened me with a gun. You just pulled a gun on my face. Man, Lord have mercy on you. This means that you don't even know who you are. Nope, I still love you. Even though you pulled a gun on me, I still love you. I still bless you.
No, that's sane. That is sane behavior. You're so secure in your identity that you pull a gun on someone's face when they say men are men, women are women. This is the Love Wins crowd. It's almost like their entire worldview is built on a house of cards that crumbles the second someone mentions biological reality. This is not about love or acceptance, it's about control. You must comply, and if you don't, they're happy to enforce their delusions on you at gunpoint. This, of course, does not represent all trans people, and there are plenty of trans men and women who just exist. Right? They understand that their biology cannot change. They present a certain way, 100%. However, we've gotten to a point where the media has coddled trans people so much that some feel emboldened. Some feel like it's acceptable to escalate in this violent way, and that's very telling about how this movement is going. They can scream bigot all they want. Reality doesn't care. Biology doesn't care. And the more people speak up, the less power this agenda has. And that's all for today's video, guys. You let me know what you think in the comments below. Also remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Share the video, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.